I am taking on my dad in a versus challenge as we race to win the Super League, with the winner of the challenge not only having to win the European Super League trophy, but also the massive knockout tournament, the European Champions Cup. And so once one of us has eventually lifted both trophies, they will be declared the winner. And we started this journey in Tier 3, where there is 192 different clubs as the managers of FC20 and Malmo. Season number 1 saw Dad win our group we were in, with we closely behind and gaining promotion in 3rd place. And that gave us money and confidence in building 2 good sides going into Tier 2. However, Season 2 saw us split into different groups in Tier 2, with my Malmo side getting back-to-back promotions, finishing in 5th place in Group B, but a free kick cost Dad promotion himself to the Super League from Group A on the final day of the season. So for season number 3, it is just myself in the top tier of the Super League and the first one to have a crack at the Super League trophy. However, even from Tier 2, Dad can still go on and win the European Champions Cup trophy as he also seeks promotion. And he believes that all starts by signing a striker that he hopes can get the goals that Nelson Viper got me last season. Meanwhile, my goal was to keep the players like Nelson Viper and build on my defense, and a defensive midfielder like Andre would be perfect. But we are already getting rejected as he's decided to stay with Wolves, as I also look to negotiate a deal to sign Junior Krupi from Lorient. As attacking midfielder's goal, he's one very special one that can help provide me with more goals. Dad's making surprise signings in bringing in Serge Aurier, who he's been very critical of in the past, for £9 million. And also brought in a rather good deal in Liam Gibbs, who instantly improves Dad's midfield at just the cost of £13 million. I then ignored the fact that I needed to strengthen my defensive side of the game, as I spent £60 million on Univar from Ajax, as well as Churo Mobley on a free transfer as a backup to the beast Nelson Viper up front. Finally though, a defender in right back Rusalev from Brentford at a really good cost of just £18 million. But the biggest bargain was a Serbi who joined on a free transfer but also agreed the lowest wage possible for some reason in his final playing year.
Nice.
Dad is also buying a new fullback, bringing in Matt Target at left back for £23 million. But the biggest worry set in for me was when offers for Nelson Viper started to come through, as well as Esteve and Diamonde. I finally persuaded Nelson Viper to stay at the club and immediately offered him a new contract that increased his rather low minimum fee release clause to one that was £116 million. Dad was also rejecting bids for his best players such as David Brooks. And speaking of rejection, Rennes came in for me offering an interview to become their new manager. I was still loaning players though, despite being in the top tier of the Super League, as I brought in Carlos Baleba from Brighton. Unfortunately for me, the first game of the season was a bad loss to Bayer Leverkusen and concerns began creeping in. However, I trusted our system and was rewarded as we went on to win our next 5 games and only conceded 2 goals. Dad had also lost his first game, but concerns deepened for him as he went into the relegation zone after just 5 matches with only 1 win. He did, however, knock out Inter Milan in the Champions Cup first round with a 1-0 extra time goal winner. So the beginning of the season has been tough for both of us, but this race to the Super League is already picking up. Dad, I think the most important bit of transfer business I did
100%
was keeping Viper.
Yeah.
He signed a new deal he wasn't going to, but I had to just keep praising him for everything he did. Then eventually it was like, oh, now he is interested in talking about new contracts. Before anybody activated that release clause, I had to put another release clause in his contract. But I don't mind if it's 116 million.
Someone comes in with that type of money, you're going to take it, ain't you?
Yeah, instead of the 50 million pound it was up for. However, ever since he did sign it, just the 1 goal, so
He sat back and enjoyed himself now.
I'm a little bit concerned now.
All the money in the bank.
Yeah, what's going on now, mate? I know we've bumped you up to 110k a week, but that is a little bit disgusting. In terms of the players coming in, though, I've had quite like an eventful summer, bringing in some, I would say, legends of the game. Churo Mobley coming in, a couple of really good Italian players. Churo Mobley at 35 on a free transfer, got 6 goals in 11 games. I don't mind if I do. Really good. But a Serbi as a free transfer only won £110k, £110 per week. All right.
37.
No problem. I mean, he's amazing though, isn't he?
Oh, he's good for a 37 euro, but
Don't knock him.
He's a bit slow, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he's slow,
but his fitness is 19.
Yeah, exactly.
Good on him for about 37.
Yeah.
And only wanted
£110.
That's travelling expenses, isn't it?
He wanted that.
He lives 5 minutes down the road and he wants 110 travelling expenses.
He wanted me to pay for a coaching course as well. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Acerbi is in the club as well. But a couple of loan deals as well. I think I'm still being smart. I can't sign any other players. I didn't have enough money. So using the loan market, where I am paying like, £2 million for the season, for the likes of Carlos Baleba, I think it's worth it. I really do. He goes into my start 11, same as Akamak, going into my starting 11, but paying £2.7 million just for the season. You can get that on just one win.
Yeah.
So I think that's good.
That's right, yeah.
Didn't I overspend on some players? Maybe. I mean, £120 million on the combination of Natsi Univar and Junior Krupi, two players I really enjoy using, but two young players I think will be worth it.
We know he can get good as well, don't we?
Yeah.
So I think that's a good signing.
Up to £98 million already. I mean, he doesn't have a release clause. If I get relegated, I'm screwed because he goes for £38 million, but let's hope that doesn't happen. I've just got to put my faith in that this team can keep me up. And tactically, we're sticking exactly the same as what we had last season. Best 11 pick, you can see the type of team that we're rocking with. It's very similar to what it was last season with those added addition players coming in. Dennis Seaman just keeps getting injured really bad. I mean, last season, I gave him the opportunity, obviously, to battle for that first spot. Then he damaged his cruciate ligaments and was out for 5 months. Now he's injured again, so... yeah, I don't know what's going on. Actually, he's coming back from his cruciate, so he's got 2 months left of that. So, yeah, he hasn't... there's no point in locking him in. I had to bring in another keeper in Bento. I think that's a smart move, free transfer. Got a couple of clean sheets already. We'll just go with that. Let's have a look at my schedule first before we look at everything, because we're in different divisions now. In the Super League, this is how crazy it can be. Look at the clubs I'm having to play one after another. Starting off, getting battered 4-1 by Leverkusen, I thought, well, I'm probably going to be battling relegation now.
Yeah.
But then I went on a 5-game winning streak.
And Roma is a good result.
Battered Roma in Rome.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. So I've only picked up a couple of losses since. I mean, you beat Roma 4-0, then you lose 2-0 to Augsburg. But there we go. Lost at Anfield 1-0. That's always going to be tricky. And lost at the San Siro 2-1. Again, tricky.
But then the results
good.
around those two results,
Yeah.
you beat Dortmund 3-1 and you beat Atletico Madrid 5-2. You beat Celtic 4-1. It's all good results.
Yeah.
I think you've done well, because the teams that you just mentioned that they beat you, they're good teams.
Yeah. So we've had a cracking start to the season. Let's see what you've been up to, Dad. You've had a very eventful transfer window again, bringing in a couple of defenders. Liam Gibbs came in for £13 million. I think you've been smart with your money. You spread it out a lot more.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you tend to overspend on certain players. But we've seen the value of some of the players that have been going around. I still think you've done really well, because, I mean, the most that you've been spending on a player this summer is, what, 23 million?
Something like that, yeah.
Matt Target, 23 million. So it's a
He's
decent
a good
amount.
left back as well.
Yeah, Semedo comes in as a goal scorer for you. We've also got Enzo coming in midfield. Some good options have joined you.
The problem I had was the players that were better than the players that I had in my team, I couldn't afford.
Yeah.
Or didn't want to come to me.
Yeah.
So I was either getting someone that was of the same sort of
Ability.
Ability, yes, that's what I'm looking for. Or just a little bit better. And I was managing to get one or two that was a little bit better. So, yeah, I was quite pleased with the signings that I'd done.
Gone for a 4-4-2.
Yes.
With 2 DMs.
I'm just making... I lost too many games, I felt, last season. It cost me promotion. So I've made myself a little bit harder to beat by playing the defensive midfielders. And I've stuck an extra person up front because last season I didn't score enough goals.
Yeah. Well, you actually changed because of how bad the start of the season was.
I didn't have a good start. I aimed an hour about starting with the same or just something a little bit different, and it wasn't working, as you can see. So when you get to September, you've got to make your mind up. So I was losing too many games, so I've gone defensive.
I mean, you beat Inter Milan already.
I know, in the cup. That's unbelievable, because they were in your league as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't believe that. So it was an extra time. I'll take that.
So that's the first round of the Champions Cup underway. You're already through that. That's nice to see. Strasbourg next, but yeah, you've got to start winning games, because else you could be in trouble. You're down in 37th place.
Yeah.
In this division, which is relegation.
On relegation zone, yeah.
The bottom 16 go down, I think it is, something like that, and only the top 8 go through.
Still a long way to go yet, so I'm not panicking, as it were.
Yeah.
I've still got. I feel that hopefully this tactic will work for me, and then you just grind away the results.
33rd in terms of the odds to go up.
Yeah.
With only the top 16 being be able to go through. 8 in one, 8 in the other. 33rd. Do you think you can defy the odds and get yourself promoted this season? I mean, I went up at 10,000 to 1.
Yeah, so it proves it can be done.
Yeah.
Really will depend on his tactic. I haven't tested this tactic now because it's obviously next game and we're going. That's it for the season. So it's fingers crossed on this. I've gone for a defensive tactic. Hopefully it works. 2 up front. They can score goals for me. Fingers crossed. That's all I can say.
All right. Let's have a look to see where they rate me. I mean, currently I'm in 9th place, which I would take at the end of the season.
Yeah,
but season preview, I probably guess I'm near the bottom.
Be near the bottom, I would say.
42nd down there. 8,000 to 1. 42nd. Bristol City and Hamburg. I don't know, Copenhagen. Those are the caliber of clubs.
I mean, you're looking at teams above you. The ones that you're winning are all teams above you.
Yeah.
So you are playing well, I think, at the moment.
With Man City as favourites. So one of us is in the Super League for the first time, which means I could complete the challenge this season.
Yes.
With a double. Who knows whether that can happen? It probably won't, but let's find out if it can. Well, Dad once again didn't get very far in the Champions Cup as his Twente side lost to Strasbourg in the second round 2-0. I, however, kept progressing and defying the odds, knocking out both Spurs and Atalanta before being drawn against Benfica in the 5th round. Nelson Viper picking up a good run of games and started to make up for the lack of goals at the start of the season, including scoring 4 against Barcelona in a 5-2 win at home. And I don't quite know how we're doing this in our first season, but we are currently sat in 6th place in the Super League. Meanwhile, Dad has thankfully improved his form and began pulling FC Twente up the league table, but is still some way out of those promotion spots. My fantastic run of form did eventually take a turn for the worse, and it all began when we played Benfica in the 5th round of the Champions Cup, as their 2-0 win over us was the beginning of an awful run. We went 2 whole months without a single win before having another bad run in the last month of the season with no wins, which ended up leaving us in a still very respectful 15th place. Unfortunately for Dad though, although his form improved, the start of the season really cost him any hopes of promotion this season. Well, it's got worse for you, Dad, instead of better. I did really think you were coming up this season, I'll be honest.
I couldn't get myself into a winning run. That was the problem I was having. I was winning the odd game, 1 or 2 games, then losing again. Then you get going again, and you can see it's like blocks, isn't it? I'm just losing or drawing a couple of games. I mean, that block there, look. You get yourself into a winning run. There's 3 games at 2-0, and I was thinking to myself, right, this is it. And bang, you lost. Drew, lost. And it was like that. That was my problem. I think at one stage I got myself into the promotion thing, and then I dropped off again. Yeah. So, I was just disappointed, really. Really disappointed.
Let's look at that. So FC Twente, you got yourself up into
there.
12.
Yeah.
So you were in and around it. Well, 11th.
But I was on a good run, though. As you can see, I just coming up, and I just felt, I think I had 5 games left then. And I felt if I'd won the 5 games, I was going the right way. Yeah. And I'd have probably got into the top 8. So, I mean, I was like off the bottom. I think I was 12 points away in the end. Yeah, fair amount. 74 to 83. 9 points, 3 games.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Disappointed again. Was it the tactic I changed to? I don't know, but got to do it all over again, haven't I?
You have. In terms of the players and the goals haven't come yet.
No, that's what's costing me. That's definitely what's costing me. I'm not scoring enough goals. Yeah, you need yourself a Nelson Viper is what you need. Yes, I do, yeah, but I've tried to get a couple of strikers last season and they just didn't want to come to me, so I had to run with what I had, really, so yeah.
In terms of the Champions Cup, either the money isn't going to be there because the second round was as far as you got. Yeah. Strasbourg getting knocked out in that one. Transfer budget is only £44 million. Financially, you need some money coming into the club because you're going to struggle else with what it is, because you keep asking for the transfer revenue to go up, keep rejecting because there's not enough money there.
I'm not going to sell any more players, am I? I'm only getting half the value. So, yeah.
Struggling. But, I'll tell you who isn't struggling. Omega Luke is there with Malmo in 15th place. We are comfortably. Yes. The 32nd is where you got to be saving yourself from relegation. We're 15th. We're absolutely fine. We're 17 points above that. Not too bad at all. We're nowhere near the top yet, but we're not expecting to be. No. Nelson Viper's having a whale of a time in the Super League. 28 goals, still scoring a lot. He is wanted by Southampton. Why would you want to go there when you can stay here at Malmo with me and enjoy it? He's like my new buddy. We're doing fantastic
when you
stuff.
Look at that top of the sheet there for the goal scorers. They're all there, though, wouldn't they?
Yeah, Erling Haaland, Mbappe, Vinicius, Evan Ferguson.
That's what makes this league so good, really. Their top strikers are all there scoring.
Yeah. Real Madrid only losing 2. Freiburg, who we've seen were just avoided relegation, and Barcelona. They lost the only El Clasico game of the season. So, I mean, they've still done well. They've won the Super League 2 years in a row. We're acting like they're in a crisis here.
I mean, look at their 20 clean sheets out of that as well.
Yeah. What I would like to highlight, though, is the clubs I finished above in my first season in the Super League, the third season only. Above Inter Milan by 4 points, Man United, Newcastle, Frankfurt.
All there,
big club. Spurs. Aston Villa has won the Champions Cup in the first season.
Yeah.
They're now scrapping for relegation. Look at the clubs who went down.
Teams who got relegated.
Napoli
Some
and
big
Roma.
Teams there, look.
They're going down into your division
Bristol
now.
City's there.
Bristol. They're going down into your division now. I'm going to cause you trouble.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I can't afford the big teams I got down in my league.
No, exactly. In the minnows. Let's look at my statistics then. 31 goals for Nelson Viper. Not as much, but still good.
That's the difference between your team and my team.
Yeah, a goal scorer. Because the rest of my team isn't scoring that many goals. Acerbi's finally retiring, you'll be pleased to know. He's took all the money he can get out of me, and then he's leaving. Do you know he accumulated nearly £2,000 this season?
He done it for tax reasons, I reckon.
Yeah. So he was good, but I think I need to reinvest the money now into bringing more goals into the club, but also I need to replace the defenders that are leaving. Acerbi's gone. I've also going to be losing another centre-back. Immobile's gone as well. He's retiring. My goalkeeper is actually also retiring, and Pontus Jansson. So that's both my centre-backs. My starting centre-back gone. The goalkeeper gone. Immobile gone. A lot of players are leaving, and I've got about £90 million to spend it with.
You're not looking... It's hard to improve your team then, because all you're doing is replacing what you're losing.
Replacing players.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to take like a hit on a season.
Yeah, you got to
just be like, all right, fine. We're just securing our position.
You know, I'm not going to win that league next season.
Well, no, I've got time on my hands. Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I got to the 5th round of the Champions Cup. That's fine. Benfica beat me 2-0 there. Some of the clubs in there you think, okay, you could beat, but some obviously big boys in there as well.
Yeah.
The final was won by Barcelona, who beat Newcastle in that final. So, how is this summer going to play out? Because Dad really needs to push for promotion next year. I kind of need to just secure my position, but I need to find replacements for those guys who are retiring. And that's the first thing I set out to do, is I went and signed Omari at centre-back from Wolves, and the 26-year-old instantly becomes a starting defender. But I did feel like I needed to improve the left-hand side as well, or at least add some depth to that, so I signed Nathan for that reason. Dab went straight in for a striker that can hopefully grab him enough goals to pull him into a promotion position, securing Brenner for £25 million. It wouldn't be a transfer window though without Dad signing a goalkeeper, as Nubo joins FC Twente. I still feel like my squad is rather small though, so I signed Iliev, who can play naturally up front or in behind, as well as a player who can slide straight into my defensive midfield in Manu Kone for £35 million. But this was mainly funded because I sold Hanch Olsen for £24 million. Dad sold £50 million worth of players to fund his transfer window, and the final guy he brought in was Iglesias at right back. Of course, he was looking to tinker around and trust Brenner to secure the goals this season and adopt a more of a defensive mentality. But overall, I think Dad can be very happy with how it's worked out at the start of season number 4. Now, I thought we'd have a bit of a busier summer. We didn't really.
Well, I didn't have a lot of money, did I, really?
No.
So, and I found it hard to sell players as well, so I didn't sell a lot of players. Mainly, and I'm normally getting 50% of their sell-on thing as well. So.
Yeah.
And I lost my keeper.
Yeah, had to bring in a new keeper.
Yeah, so
he's got injured straight away.
Oh, it's typical, isn't it?
Of course he has.
There's another keeper that we use quite a bit, so I was quite pleased to get him, actually. I was surprised that he did come to me as well.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to, but...
From Bayern Munich, no less.
That's why I was surprised, really, so I was chuffed a bit to get him.
Brenner also joined the club, good striker.
Yeah.
This is the guy you're looking for to get you the goals.
I need goals, so this is the best striker I could buy, really. So I was pleased to get him as well.
And then finally, you got yourself a right back.
Yeah, I was desperate to get myself a right back. I had an oldish guy there who retired or left me, so I'm pleased to get this guy in as well. So all I done was replace what I had and losing and getting a striker in.
Yeah. Tactically, Dad, I mean, you're all over the place.
Oh.
And the tactic speaks to that.
Yeah, it does, yeah. I had to nail the guy in as well because I wanted... He didn't get... He went into that position, but I wanted him in the other position as well. But so I nailed him in his preferred position, really, and let the other side just take the toe between the other two strikers, really. I was all over the place. I just couldn't find a tactic that was working for me like it did last season. So I just went for a bit more attacking, really. Hopefully, it's a little bit like the season I got promoted with. So I've gone back to that, and hopefully I can score a few goals because I've got a better striker there.
Yeah. You've also got an extremely small side.
Yes.
Like no backup striker at the minute.
Well, I was
nothing.
I was losing a lot of players through freebies or coming to the end of contracts and things like that, and I just didn't have the money to replace them. And the players that I was trying to buy weren't interested in coming to me. And like I said, I had to get a keeper. I had to get a striker. I had keepers. I had strikers. But you can need better than what you got, don't you, really? You know, a reserve keeper was not as good as what this keeper is, really. So.
Yeah, you are struggling.
I am, yeah.
Squad management's a bit of a problem for you.
I'm really getting worried because if I get injuries, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I think so. You would be too.
And that could have been what was wrong with me last season. I didn't have the third striker. So, you know, you only need 2 strikers to get injured and you're out. You're not scoring goals. So,
I mean, you haven't got any backup at the minute. You have started the season well, though. You're top of the league.
Yes.
I don't know how, when you look at how bad you've been. You lost the opening game as well.
Yeah.
2-1, but you've unbeaten since. You just got to really hope you keep those players fit.
Brandon's scoring goals for me. And score goals, you win games.
Yeah.
So,
he's on the score sheet quite often.
I've got a striker and I've got a good goalkeeper. Those two help each other for the results, don't they?
Yeah,
really? So,
putting your hopes on that. I agree. Okay, let's look at other things, though, because I actually had a quiet window as well in terms of, obviously, how crazy we could go with the money that I've had. And I just really made sure I just replaced those players quite well. I think Nathan coming in, Brazilian left-sided player. I've got Esteve as well, but I think having good options, he can also play left-back, should we really need to, quite well for 3-star there, as you can see. But all around quite good, only 25. Obviously, we lost a Serbi as well, so bringing in another right-sided centre-back in Warm Dumari, who is quite good as well in that centre-back spot, can also play CDM. Again, gives me options. I think I like those types of players where they're natural in one position, and if you need them in the other position, they can do it as an accomplished player. That's always fun. I don't like it when it's spread out too much, because then you don't know where they're going to keep popping up. I like just like one position and then another option.
I like a squad player.
I know you do, yeah. And I also got Manu Kone, who joined. I mean, it was a big move, £35 billion. But I lost Baleba, who was kind of the heart and soul of my midfield last season.
Yeah.
And I wanted more of a permanent guy in there, and Manu Kone gives me that. Again, natural in 2 positions, can play in that centre attacking midfield spot quite well. Should we need to, but I'm happy with that. Although it's £35 million, I think in the long run, it'll be worth it. That was the only signings I needed to make. I mean, we've got a couple of good bargains in there. I mean, this guy here has gone back on loan to Woking, but my scouts was like, what about this guy? And I was like, for 500k, yes.
Yeah, take him, yeah.
20 determination, driven personality. He looks all right to begin with. Loan him back to Woking.
You could get him back next season and sell him for 20 million, couldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, this is the European Super League, so
yeah.
all of like the clubs have been pulled out of England, which meant that Woking's actually in the Premier League. So like the last 3 seasons, you see Southend's winning it, but Woking's now in it. So technically, he's playing in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But not necessarily. And Ilyev, who joined for quite a cheap cost, is natural in the 2 positions I am using.
Yeah.
So it's just good options, I think. And I'm sticking with the tactic that I had last season. It'd be so stupid for me to change it because I just don't need to.
No.
I trust these 3 up there in those roles. Diamonde's, of course, there is another option as well. I've got other players who can play there, but nowhere near as good as those 3. And I think I've got good options on the bench now. So, I mean, my schedule, this is how weird the Super League is. You beat Fulham 5-0, you lose to Liverpool 2-0. You lose to Real Madrid 3-0, you beat Juve 6-0.
Yeah.
What is happening? This is absolutely mental. You go on a bit of a run then, and it's stopped by Getafe. Like, what is going on? You draw 4 all to buy, and they only just scramble after you pull it back. Like you pull it back, you put yourself 4-3 up after being 3-2 down. Then Matisse Tell equalises in the 96th minute. You're like, oh! And then you get absolutely stuffed by Getafe 3-1. It's hilarious. This is why we love this league. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, I mean, uni promotion, you're putting yourself in that right position.
Yeah.
Because so far, I'm holding my ground in this league.
Yeah, you are, yeah.
I'm doing all right. I'm 11th again.
You'd so
Nelson Viper's got 15 goals.
I mean, you'd sell for that, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
finish in that position, really.
Second season syndrome was a thing in Football Manager.
15
and
goals,
12.
games. He's
Hit the
doing
ground
really
running
well.
again. Yeah. He even got him cutting inside from the left wing. He didn't even play there. But we're doing it. So, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
This season's going to be quite an interesting one. I want to see if you can get up here with me.
I've had a good start again, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it carries on.
Let's see what happens. Bad news for Dad as he was knocked out of the Champions Cup in the third round after taking a 3-0 loss. His form in the league was going well until he went no wins in 5 and 3 losses in a row to drop out of the top 8. Once again, I was progressing nicely in the Champions Cup, putting 5 past Ajax, with Viper scoring a hat-trick to knock them out of the 4th round. In the league, we are also doing really well, sat in 7th place by the new year after big wins against the likes of Arsenal, who we battered 5-0. But Nelson Viper is storming away with 27 league goals already. Across the next few months, Dad's FC20 side put together a great run and only lost 1 game in their push for a promotion. They did draw a few games but picked up enough wins that they now sit in the promotion spots, but it's so close in points if they move both ways. Meanwhile, I had put on a similar type of run, including a big 3-1 win against Manchester United in the Champions Cup. A quarter-final win no less, meaning my Malmo side was now in the semi-finals against Barcelona, which, as we know, means financially the money coming into the club just this month alone thanks to that win is huge alongside the Super League money. Winning a game in the Super League alone means you win £5 million, and I've been doing so much of that I'm currently sat in 3rd place. Back to Tier 2, however, Dad's unbeaten run just never stopped and his FC20 side were flying, not losing a single game in over 4 months of football and finishing on 90 points in 6th place, gaining promotion to the Super League and only 4 points off of top. Speaking of the Super League, this is Nelson Viper's world and we're all just living in it. The absolute beast of a striker scored 45 league goals alone in the Super League to lift the golden boot and help us create an unimaginable finish. As we managed to finish in 2nd place, only runners up to Manchester City in a phenomenal season for Malmo. But what happened in the Champions Cup semi-final, I hear you ask? Well, unfortunately, Victor Osman's goal was the only one in the game, and our run came to an end. I mean, I almost completed the whole challenge.
Oh, so lucky there.
Season 4.
God almighty. I mean, you're still 11 points off Man City, but what a season that was. Oh, God. I am really worried now. You're that close already to start winning this game. We're winning this tournament, so semi-final of the cup as well.
Semi-final by Barcelona. Only 1-0 as well.
And I'll tell you what, you would fancy yourself
Against
Brighton,
Chelsea?
I think you would fancy yourself.
Yeah.
Where would Chelsea finish in the league?
They finished in 10th
You
place.
definitely got to fancy yourself, really, wouldn't you? Have you got them?
Did I lose against them? I didn't. Did I draw? I drew against them 3-3. Look at the draws. Chelsea, Barcelona, Bayern. How did I finish 2nd place? My goal difference is the same as Manchester City.
Yeah.
I mean, we know from previous seasons, like 2nd place, how many points did I get? 99. That's finishing in 5th the season before.
99, you'd have won the league. Oh, no, sorry.
No, it's
I was
119.
looking at the 96 then.
Yeah, I don't know why, but there we go. 99 would have put me down in 5th place.
Yeah.
So
it
this is a
shitty,
freak season
Yeah.
where only one team was good, but I mean, I was really good because I had 117 goals scored, which was the most throughout the whole campaign.
Yeah.
And that is nothing less remarkable for Nelson Viper, who got 45. Junior Creepy got 25.
Yeah.
Like, that's absolutely insane. The guy is a monster.
We did say that about him, didn't we?
Yeah.
But there you go. That's what it's all about, isn't it? You score goals, you win games.
Incredible statistic there.
Yeah.
45 in 43 with 7 assists and 7 player of the matches. The guy is an absolute animal. He's done fantastic for me. Roslev has done really well from right back. Great development. 20 assists this season.
I'll tell you what. Getting 2nd in the league and
Semi-final.
semi-final of the cup, you've won a lot of money.
I have.
You've won a lot of money with
Yeah.
that. Oh, dear. I'm really worried now.
But we cannot ignore the fact that you've had a good season as well. You've had a good season as well. In Group B, you got yourself promoted, Dan.
Yeah.
90 points,
I'm
6th place.
I mean, I'm 4 points clear of getting promoted, and I was 4 points behind the top place. So
Yeah.
I'm pleased with that.
Yeah.
It's all about getting in that top 8. I've done it.
Absolutely. In terms of how you actually played out this season, obviously we see at the start you were top.
Yeah.
You dropped off a little bit, dropped all the way down at one point.
A little bit of a dip.
Into 11th place.
Yeah, I was getting worried.
But credit to your side, you got back up.
Yeah.
Secured it in the end. Nice and easy. Promoted into the same division now. So this is where it really kicks off. We're both now in shooting range of completing the challenge.
I still don't think I've scored enough goals, really. My goal difference is 29. It's one of the lowest ones there. It is the lowest in the top 8, look.
Yeah.
So
how many goals
I know what
did
I need.
you get? 21 from Brenner. You're lucky you had him.
Yeah. I locked him in, so I'm glad I did now.
Yeah.
I aimed an amber at locking him in. We're just leaving the 3 to fight it out of them. And I thought, no, I'm going to lock him in. That's what I bought him for. And he repaid me just.
Yeah, so, absolutely. The transfer, finances, 156, looking a lot more healthy. That's actually the most that you've had throughout the whole time. Your transfer revenue's actually gone down to 30%.
Yeah, they were not interested with it.
Now is the real time to be like, I've got money. Can you please give me that back?
But the thing is, we just looked at the size of my squad just now, didn't we? And I haven't got a big squad. So I'd be silly to sell players, really. I've got to add to it. So I've just got to play with the money that I've got, buy 3 or 4 players and add to the squad rather than losing anything. Yeah.
You need to be raiding the free transfers as well, getting more players in. £116 million gives you enough to, I think, make four arrivals and then some free transfers to fill out that squad for next season. Let's look at me, though. Goals-wise, 52 in 48 games for Nelson Viper. 27 in 45 for Junior Krupi. Diamonde's chipped in with quite a lot. Assist-wise, Rösler we've seen already, but Johnson in centre mid's done quite well too. So I'm really happy with those positions. And my finances are looking very good. 400 million? Oh, wow, look at that.
And the thing is as well, your reputation's got to go up.
Reputation's got to be through the roof now. So 242 million in the bank.
You're going to be attracted. The players that you approach probably will want to sign for you.
A star.
Come on, you just come second.
Saying I'm a one-season wonder, we're ready to prove them wrong. We are ready to prove them wrong because, this was a fantastic season. We deserve more credit. This season, the players that we could be bringing in with £250 million in the bank. You are not going to want to miss season number 5.